ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to math. Today's a very, very simple concept. Today, we're going to just do an add-on to something you probably learned like in 3rd grade. Probably even before that. We're covering division. Okay? We're covering, in other words, long division. When we talk about division, when we were little kids, we were taught that we have a number on the outside, we have our little house, and then we have a few numbers probably on the inside. Then we go the first number. The number on the outside has to be divided how many times into the numbers on the inside? In this case is 2. We subtract 6, right? Notice that the number is positive. The rule itself means that you're subtracting the number, okay? You don't have to put a negative here to make it a negative 6, okay? You were never taught that way. You were always taught that the number is always positive. The negative comes on the bottom, okay? So we have 0, we bring down the 9. 3 can go into 9 3 times, minus 9. Again, we bring down the 3, right? And then 3 can go into 3 one time. So your answer is 3 can go into 683 231 times. Okay? We're doing something similar to that, okay? Very, very simple. Okay, you learned how to divide as a little kid. Today, we're still doing sort of the same thing. The only difference is we're adding a variable, okay? It's not, just because it's a variable doesn't mean it's very, very complicated, okay? It's still the same principle. So, our example for today is we have x to the third. We have minus 8x squared, okay, plus 4x minus 9, okay? It's been divided by x minus 4. Okay, kind of looks complicated, I know, because there's a lot of x's. There's a few squares, or there's a square, there's a cube. Don't stress out, okay? It's very, very simple, okay? Remember, all we're doing is division. So the very first thing is to set it up. The way we set it up, if you guys remember, the number that goes on the inside, the first number, the one that's being divided 2. So let's make our little house. Now that we have our little house here, our little division house, again, we're going to put the numbers on the inside. So we have x cubed minus 8x squared plus 4x minus 9, okay? Now the numbers that are at the end, the numbers that are being divided by, go on the outside. So we have x minus 4, okay? All we did was just set it up, okay? I haven't done anything. Just pretty much all I did is plug it in. Make sure you're writing down. Okay, now that we have it written down, we can actually solve, in other words, solving for this problem, okay? The way we solve for this problem is, let's use print. Notice that you have 2 numbers on the outside, okay? I say numbers because always in front of the x, there's a 1, okay? So there's, if you want to say 2 positions, that's fine. Or 2 objects, 2 items, that's fine as well, okay? Notice that there's 2. So what we're going to do is our first number or our first variable, okay, hint, hint, because you're dealing with x's, always goes how many spaces are on the outside, okay, the very first one. Notice that there's two, so the first variable or number you're going to put it not in the first position, not up here, because it's the first one, but you're going to put it on the second position, okay, on top of the 8, because this is 1, this is 2, okay. With that being said, the reason why, you're going to see in a minute why, okay? You might ask yourself, why, Mr. Rivera? Why is it 2 positions? I'll tell you why in a minute, okay? The first thing we have to do is, notice that we have an x on the outside. We're trying to have it equal to the number on the inside, okay? Notice that the number on the inside has x cubed. This one has x. If there's no number on the outside, it means to the power of 1, okay? So to the power of 1. Now that we have that, what do we need in order to make it to the x to the third power? If you guys remember on a previous concept we did a concept where if you multiply two variables that have exponents, the exponents get added, okay? All we're trying to turn this x first is to x to the third. So we need 2 more x's, right? Or 2 more variables, should I say, a variable of a square. Because 1 plus 2 is 3. So notice that again, I said our first variable is going to be 2 spaces over. So we're going to put x squared. Okay? Again, the reason why is because x to the first times x to the second is x to the third power. Okay? Because remember, x1 times x2 is like saying x1 plus 2, which is x1 plus 2, which is x to the third. Okay? So again, x1 times x2 is x to the third. Now we're going to do the same thing to the second number, okay? Since we have x to the first times x to the second, we're going to do the same to the negative 4. So we have negative 4 times x squared. All you have to do is put them together because one has variables, one doesn't. So minus, because negative and positive is negative 4x squared. Okay? Now, remember the rule. The rule for division is you put a set of parentheses. You really don't need the parentheses, but I always like to put them. Set of parentheses and then a negative, because remember, you're subtracting. The rule is you're subtracting. So x minus x to the third cancels out. Okay? We're trying to cancel out as many as we can. Notice that now we have negative 8x squared minus a minus. So minus a minus makes the 4 a positive, right? So minus a minus makes this positive. So we have negative 8 plus 4. Obviously, there are 2 different signs, so you're going to subtract them. Your biggest one is negative, so you know your answer is going to be negative. Negative 4 or 8 minus 4 is 4. So we have 4x squared. Okay? Remember, once you have your one solved, you bring down the next number, which in this case is the 4x. So we bring it down as positive 4x. Okay? Don't move the 9 just yet. Not until the next step. We're doing one at a time. Now that we have another problem, negative 4x squared plus 4x, we repeat the same process again. We have x to the first if we're trying to get to negative 4x squared, this time we need to make it negative because we're trying to make another negative. So we have negative x and 4x. We have negative 4x. The reason why 4x, because x to the 1 and x to the 1, because remember, there's a 1, is x squared. And you have 4 negative. Okay? You might ask yourself, how come the first one's positive, the second one's negative? The reason why is because, again, we're going to put parentheses. I'm going to put a negative. Okay? Let's finish off the rest before we start off on this process. Again, we have negative 4 times negative and negative makes it positive. So plus 4 times 4 is 16x. So now we have negative 4x squared minus, so minus and minus makes this positive. So negative 4 plus 4 cancels out. Because remember, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to cancel out as much as we can, okay? So now we have 4 minus a positive. Again, this becomes positive minus positive. Technically, this becomes a negative. Okay? So 4 minus 16. Since 16 is negative, 16 is bigger. So we have minus 16 minus 4, which is 12, right? So we have 12x. And then we bring down our negative 9. Okay? So minus the screw there kind of looks like it's multiplying. It's just negative 12x minus 9. Okay, I know it's a lot of work, guys. Okay? Keep in mind, make sure you write it down. We're going to erase some stuff up here so we can bring it up. Alright, so now that you have written it down, you can go ahead and erase stuff from up here. There was a 1 here. There was an x. Okay, so now we know that we have negative 12 x minus 9. Okay? It's up here. What I have down here is now up here. Okay? Again, we're looking for a number from x. Notice since we already have 1x, we technically don't have to have any more x's. All we have to pretty much put in the front is a 12. Since it's a negative 12, we have to put a negative 12. Because x times negative 12 is negative 12x. Because you cannot combine the x with the constant. Okay? Now, we have the same thing, negative 4 times negative 12. Negative and negative makes it positive. 4 times 12 is 36. Okay? Not 36. 48. Got overexcited there. I was like, wait a minute. Alright, now that we have that, again, the rule is, I like to put a little set of parentheses, a negative. Negative and negative makes it positive. Negative 12x plus 12x cancels out. Negative 9 minus 48. Remember, negative makes the 48. Instead of a positive, makes it negative. So, negative 9 minus 48. Since they're both negatives, you just keep the negative sign and you add them. Okay? Minus, does anybody know what's the answer? 9 plus 48. Tell you what, we subtract 2 from 9, makes that 50. So if we subtract 2 from 9, that left us a 7, right? So the answer is 57. So you have a remainder of negative 57. So the way you write your final answer is to round. Oh no. The way we write the final answer is we keep the numbers, okay? X squared minus 4x, okay, minus 12 minus 57 over the number you're being divided by, which in this case is x minus 4. X minus 4. Okay? And that is our answer. Again, I know it's a lot of work, okay, because it's a lot of steps. It's just a little more advanced of what we learned as a little kid, as division. It's still long division. The only difference between long division that you learn as a little kid to the one you learn now is we actually have variables in there. Okay? So make sure you write everything down. I'm going to step out of the screen here. Let's keep it over here. Alright, so now that you have it all down, I'm going to give you your assignment. But don't forget, guys, I know it's probably a little complicated for some of you that still don't know variables very well. If you have any questions, guys, don't hesitate to ask, okay? I'm here to help. We'll find another way for you to learn it, okay? So here's your assignment. Alright, your assignment for today is two x squared minus 5x minus 3 divided by x minus 3. Okay? I'm going to give you one more just for the practice of it so you guys can really get the hang of it. M squared minus 3m minus 7 divided by m plus 2. Okay? So there's two problems on the board. Again, we're doing log division. Make sure you submit your answers if you're done watching the video. Submit a picture of your notes as well. And I'll be waiting for your email.